Hi, everyone, and welcome to a brief discussion about this year's Business Development Workshop Series. I'm really excited to talk to you about it. I'm going to introduce you to an amazing special guest called Colleta in a moment. I'm William Arruda. I am the host of the Business Development Workshop Series. In fact, I have been the host since there was a Business Development Workshop Series for the ICF, and it is something I look forward to every other year. What I want to do is just briefly tell you a little bit about the program. I know that we have some folks who are considering joining the program, and there's still time to do that. And also, I think we have some folks who've joined it and want to learn a little bit more from this perspective. So I'm delighted to do that. And then when I asked Colleta to join, she's going to share a little bit about her experience in a previous version of the Business Development Workshop Series. So here's the deal. I think this is the best program ever, partly because I've had the pleasure of being involved for so long, but mostly because it is the opportunity to create a really structured plan that you can use to take your practice from where it is to where you want it to be. In all previous sessions, we've primarily had newly minted coaches kind of getting the plan for their practice together. A big difference this year is we have two tracks. We have a launch track. So if you are launching your business, what is everything you need to do to be able to make it successful? And we have a grow track. So if you're an established coach and you say, you know what, we've had 2 years of disruption. How do I want to evolve my practice? What new things do I want to do? How do I rethink my practice? There is content for you as well. So the program is broken into 3 elements or themes. The first one is define. It's really about getting clear about your practice, your goals for your practice, how you stand out from other coaches. That's already begun. In fact, we just released the first content on Monday. It's on-demand content, and our private LinkedIn group has just exploded with discussion. So it's really great. The second theme is called position. And this is the nuts and bolts of running a business, right? Business planning and marketing and pricing and selling and all the things you need to do to build a successful practice with techniques for doing it in a way that feels really good. And that's the key, because it's not necessarily the stuff coaches love to do, right? They love to coach. And then the third element is called expand. And this is how are you going to grow your visibility and your credibility, and most importantly, your revenue. Are you going to build new offerings in addition to your coaching? Are you going to use social media to reach your audience? What are the things that you're going to do to expand your success? So those are the 3 themes. There's a lot of on-demand content, opportunities for live Q&A sessions with some of the experts that we have. We have this other kind of content called Deep Dive, where we take a topic that's really important and focus really deeply on that topic so that you can really learn it and take action. And this year, we have the most opportunities for you to be able to turn learning into action. So the thing about the Business Development Workshop Series that's different from any other conference you might attend is those conferences, you kind of just pick and choose some topics that interest you, and it's great, and you have a good time, and you learn some stuff, and you move forward. This is much more of a step-by-step, action-oriented program where we take you through everything you need to do so that it's really a serial process, and you have an opportunity to act. So let me tell you about those opportunities, and then I'm going to ask Colleta to share a little bit about her experience from a previous session. First of all, you have an opportunity to be paired with an accountability partner and go through the entire program with someone who can help you and who you can help as you move through. And when you set up regular meetings with them, it means that you're more likely to act on those things that you think are going to be most helpful to you that you learn in the program. We also are going to have accountability sessions. So after each of the 3 themes, there are going to be accountability sessions. We're doing them at 2 different times of day so that people from around the world can participate, where we're going to talk about the most important elements of that theme and break up into breakout groups with a small community of people where you can discuss, what's working, what's not working, wins, questions and things like that so that you can move forward. We also have the LinkedIn group where you're able to interact with each other and with some of the experts so that you can have more discussions and deepen your learning. All of this is designed so that you can turn learning into action, so that action can become results for your practice. So in case you can't tell, I'm really excited about this year's. It's just absolutely amazing. The people that we have, and they're from all over the world. We have coach practitioners, we have people who are experts who work with coaches, and we have people who have nothing to do with coaching, providing their expertise and a little bit of perspective. All right, so what I want to do now, though, I want to introduce Colleta Macharia, who so kindly agreed to share a little bit about her experience from a previous business development workshop series that we've done. So welcome, Colleta.
Thank you very much, William. I'm glad to be here.
And she is here from Nairobi, Kenya. So it's the end of the day for her. So she's really kind to offer her wisdom at this late hour in the day. Colleta, I hope you could just introduce yourself. Tell your fellow coaches a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thanks, William. Hi, everyone. My name is Colleta Macharia, and I am a life and career coach from Nairobi, Kenya. And I'm also an author and trainer in personal skills.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. And by the way, that's some of what we're going to be talking about in the business development series is how do you augment your coaching with other things so that you can ensure that you have the revenue that you need, and so that you can use your intellectual property throughout a lot of different offerings. So what prompted you to join when you said, yeah, this year I'm going to do the business development workshop series? What helped you make that decision?
So two things mainly. Every year I, set aside a budget for my own professional and personal development. And so I know that I'm gonna need to find something in the course of the year to, to dive into to help me grow myself. And so when I saw the information talking about the business development series on the ICF website, and I think I also received some messages from ICF, I looked at it and I thought, just it looked like the kind of thing I was looking for at the time. And it was going to go on over several months. It wasn't, something that you were gonna cram into, maybe 4 hours in one day or 1 week and then you're done with it. So I liked the way it was presented, and I saw that, it was digestible and I could do it in, bite-sized pieces. And then also, the topics that were gonna be covered, I felt there were things that I needed. And then, the price was right. I felt that getting all this, I think at the time it was like $300. And, considering just how much I had seen other programs going for, I thought, why don't I dive right into this one? So those were the reasons.
Great. And by the way, I just want to let everyone know, if you have any questions, we're going to do questions at the end for me or for Colleta. So just put your questions in now, and we will get to them then. A couple of things I just want to pick up on that you talked about. One was the program being spread out over time. And that's the case again this year. One of the things we learned is who's got time to spend 24 hours a day for an intensive period of time just focused on business development. We have clients to talk to and businesses to build and whatnot. So this year we have a content that gets released in February and April and June. And in those off months, that's the opportunity to work with your accountability partner, to practice some of what you learn, to start to take action and have some discussions. So this is also spread out over time so that you can learn as you go, as you said, Colleta, in bite-sized pieces, so that you don't have to feel incredibly overwhelmed. The other thing that you said, I was looking through all of the comments, the feedback from the previous session, and one person said, there's just one session with one of these experts is worth the cost of admission. And I think that's what you were saying is it's a lot of learning and value because we have so much content delivered in so many different ways. Without it feeling like it's going to break the bank. So thanks for that. So you joined the program. What would you say were did you have any surprises, or are there things that you learned that you didn't expect to learn, or about yourself, or about where you want to take your practice? What was kind of surprising for you about the program?
I would have to say that, yeah, there were several surprises. And, William, I've taken a lot of assessments, whether it's personality, behavior, and all that stuff, knowing your values. And so when I saw that there was going to be an assessment, I thought, it was just going to be one of those. So the 360 reach, um, when I took it, um, first of all, just sending it to a wide, um, you know, a big number of people, and just hearing all the feedback that they gave. Some of the things they said were surprising yet true. If I can be honest, at the back of my mind, I knew that yes, I needed to work on some of those things, and so it was good seeing it coming from other people. So that was the number one surprise. I didn't quite expect, to have that kind of an impact from an assessment, because I thought I had done quite a few. And then in terms of just thinking about things like ROI, for example, I mean, we've talked about it in other quarters. I've read about it. I have, but the way it was explained and the kind of material that we got, just challenging us to think about, some of the things, we do with our clients, some of the results that we get, and what we are known for, what you want to be known for, how it changes, how they do things, or how it grows them. I realized that, this is very, very valuable data that one can use and keep track and see the patterns and see the kind of things that emerge from, the work with clients. And so for me, that was a big one. And then there was also the thing about branding, and yet again, it was not new, hearing about branding and even learning about branding. But there was just something about the urgency, doing it at the business development series, and, hearing from all these experts and them telling you even their own personal experience. I realized that it's something I needed to pay attention to. So those were some of the things. And of course, there was the big one, the sales conversation, which, like you mentioned, many people do not like to have that conversation. And I was one of those people who did not like having that conversation. But, there was the way it was presented. And one statement in particular, I forget the name of the lady that took us through the session, but one statement in particular she said one of the mistakes that many coaches make is that they start coaching when they're supposed to be having a sales conversation with a prospective client. And I thought, that's me, And so how do I stop doing that? And so just following through, the kind of questions and the kind of conversation that you have without being in a hurry to jump and say, or even when the client asks you about, so how much does your coaching cost? You ensure that you present the value first, and you understand exactly what the client needs before you get to talking about the cost. So these are just some of the things that I picked up that really stood out for me.
Yeah, and it's so funny. We go out to the coaches every year and say, what kinds of things are important to you? What do you need to learn to build your business and develop your business? And always the ROI of coaching, right? And how do I do that in a way? It sounds like, do I need to hire a company to get the data and do all this stuff and be able to present it? Or how can I actually prove to clients that it's valuable? And I think we have brilliant people who are able to talk about that, where it's not time consuming and it's not expensive. And that's always, it's always one of the top three things people want to know. And the second thing is, how do I sell without really disliking selling? And this year, because selling is always toward the top, not only do we have an expert, Connie Kadansky, who's going to talk about selling, we have deep dive content about different ways to think about selling. So it's the most content we've ever had on that topic, because we know it's a really hard one. And the other thing you brought up, I can't, it's just amazing, because this is really kind of what your fellow coaches are all grappling with, is pricing. And we know, in marketing, they say there are 5 Ps. Somebody told me the other day there are 8 Ps now. And one of the Ps of marketing is price. And it's one of the hardest things for us to come up with. How do I price my work? So we have some content on pricing and on value, determining your value this year too. So yeah, so thanks for sharing that. I know that you when I reached out to see who might want to be interviewed for today for this session, you shared that you had some successes because of having participated. Can you share some of those?
Yes, I can. I must say that before I did the BDS training, the business development series, I was doing a lot of pro bono coaching, and I like to do pro bono coaching, but then a lot of my coaching work was really on pro bono basis. I hadn't really gotten to that point where I was getting clients, paying clients on a regular basis, and so that conversation on selling was very key, because once I started applying it as I was having conversations with people, I got, clients, paying clients. And so for me, that was one big one. And I'm not saying like I have hundreds of them, but since the BDS, I've had more paying clients than I've had pro bono coaching clients. And so for me, that was fantastic, because I always say that my coaching needs to be a business that delivers value to me as well, right? So that was big. And then the other one was just looking at the branding perspective. I did my two websites, my company's website, Cogenta Freak, and my personal website, and just taking that information and really seeing how I want to present myself. Of course, first of all, coming from a very authentic place of who I am and what my vision is and what my purpose is, and really drilling down to those. So that was the other big thing for me. And of course, just rewriting my LinkedIn profile. I do remember when we talked about that, and the following day I went and started looking at my profile and seeing what is it communicating, how is it representing me. And so I wrote that out, and someone reached out to me several months later and said, I saw your profile on LinkedIn, and I was checking to see if you would be interested in XYZ for a client of mine, and if you are, can we have a conversation? And so I did land a good paying client, and I asked him, so what made you reach out to me? And he said, the way you've written in your LinkedIn profile, it's very clear who you are and what you do and what value clients get from you. So those were some of the successes that I've had.
Well, bravo. Congratulations on the success and for opportunities coming through social media, because we're living in a 100% digital world now, right? So our opportunity for marketing and for networking and for building business, it's all on this 13-inch screen that we're communicating on right now, right? So really important that you get that right. So I'm glad you mentioned the LinkedIn profile piece. One last question before we open it up for questions that the folks who are paying attention right now have, and don't forget to put your questions in the comments so that we can answer them. It's about one of the things that a lot of people tell me who've been through the program, and now I know a lot of people who've been through the program since I think we've done this 9 times, is the connections that they have to each other. Like building a community of coaches and outside their city or country or continent. Did you develop some friendships or partnerships or accountability folks? What was your experience in actually being able to connect with? We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in this year's session. So what was your experience with that?
I can say that it was positive, though I haven't really been very what can I say? I haven't gone all out, in seeking out those connections and those relationships, mainly just because of, time. But I've had a couple of people reach out, and we've, had conversations on how we can support each other, how we can collaborate, and how we can hold each other accountable. So I think it was fantastic. And I know that, if I put in the effort from my end, it would even grow exponentially. Yeah.
I'm delighted to hear it, and I do say just a little bit of effort. There's an amazing community of people, and the thing that I think unites everyone is their commitment to building a successful practice, right? And not just struggling all the time and every day waking up thinking about, how am I going to get my next client? So it's kind of a good community of people to bond with around that topic. So I just want to remind everyone, we even though the program kicked off on Monday with the first set of on-demand content, there is still time to get in. And in fact, you can still join the program and access all of that content and get on the LinkedIn group and get assigned an accountability partner. So if you're interested, now is the time to do it. So I'd love to take any questions that have come in, Suki, up to now. Oh, it looks like we have one from Carol. How often do you run the series? So here's the thing. If you're at all interested in building your practice, you want to get in on this one because we run it only every other year. Way back when we started, it was an every year program, but we think that giving people a little bit of a break and giving them different kinds of content in Converge and then allowing them to focus on business development is a really important way to go. So there will not be another one until 2024. And interestingly, I will let you know, we haven't had one since COVID. So the last 2 years have been nothing but disruption and change and craziness. Now's the time to have a reset, right? And think about, okay, the world has changed. Now what do I need to do with my practice to be successful? So great. Other questions? What's the schedule of the training? So we have content, Q&A, live Q&A with experts and accountability sessions, all in February for our first theme, which is called Define, in April for our second theme, which is called Position, and in June for Expand. So those, the on-demand content and the deep dive content, you can interact with as you wish throughout the entire program. The live Q&A and the live accountability sessions that happen in February, April, and June, you're going to want to mark those on your calendars so that you don't miss them. At the end of June, what you should leave with is your action plan, everything that you're going to do to have your business soar. And by the way, there are opportunities in those off months to start practicing those actions so that you can have an impact. We want by the end of the year for you to say, wow, my practice looks really different from how it did at the beginning. Colleta, what was your experience in how long it took from, when you joined the program and the program completed to where you started to see some tangible impact?
Oh, I can say that there's some of the things that were almost immediate. Like, that sales conversation, after the session, just putting it into practice. And I think we did have a session with our groups, when we did the Zoom and we had breakouts where, we talked about it and, so how can you implement this in your business? So some of those were immediate. And even after the social media conversation, just updating my LinkedIn profile, I started to see a bit of traction there. And there are some of things that I am working on to this day, Yeah, so especially the ROI, just collecting data as I work with clients and sort of looking at the patterns and what it is telling me. So yeah, it varied. There are some things that were immediate and others it took a bit of time.
Yeah, I love that. You started changing your sales conversations immediately. And now you're still thinking about, okay, what did I learn that I need to be implementing? Great.
Yeah.
So we have a question. How long does it take to complete the series, or how long do you have to complete the series? And how do you coordinate schedules with your accountability partner? Really good question. So the first one, you will have access to this content for the year. So you will be able to interact with it as many times as you want at a time that's convenient for you. So even though it's a lot of content, there's a lot of stuff here, it can feel incredibly manageable because you can access it whenever is convenient for you. With regard to your accountability partner, there are some questions when you're looking to be matched with an accountability partner. what region are you in, just from a time zone perspective? How do you like to communicate, frequently with regular meetings or infrequently? So there's a series of questions that are used to help match you with an accountability partner that works with your style. And then you get matched and you have a meeting with your accountability partner and say, what's the frequency with which we're going to meet? What's the means by which we're going to meet? How do I want you to hold me accountable? How do you want me to hold you accountable? So that you can customize that relationship as you start to move through the program. And whenever I do this in any program and anything that I do, it's amazing how accountability partners become kind of lifelong friends and mentors for each other as they continue to move with their coaching practices. Great. I'm starting my coaching certification this month. Will I have to complete this first? The answer is no. Where were you, Colleta? For how long had you been a coach, or had you been certified, or did you receive a credential from ICF before you started?
No, actually, I haven't yet received any credentials from ICF, but I have taken, training with ICF certified trainers. And so what I've been working on is just building those hours so that I can apply for my credential.
Of course. Yeah. And so this is the kind of thing, and by the way, it's actually the right time to be thinking about building your practice when you are learning to be a coach, right? Because what you don't want to do is get to the end of the program and say, poof, I'm a coach. Uh-oh. What do I need to do to get clients? So if you have the bandwidth to think about that concurrently, it's going to be really helpful to you. What is the cost of the program? The cost is $400 for ICF members. And I believe, and I'll confirm this, I believe it's $500 for non-ICF members. So it obviously pays to be an ICF member. And I will tell you, the ICF membership has grown tremendously because it is the global community for people who are really serious about coaches. It's $550 for non-members, so apologies for that. So it definitely means, so what I would do if you're a non-member of the ICF, I would join the ICF and then buy it for $400, and then you have half of your ICF, about half of your ICF membership paid for, right? Just my bargain thinking. What are some of the biggest changes we've seen happen since COVID, and what will be covered? I am so glad you asked that. So Ann Betts, did you get to meet Ann Betts, Colleta, at all? She talks a lot about the neuroscience of coaching.
I don't believe we have met.
I don't think so either. This might be the first time we've included her in this. She and I are actually doing a session, an on-demand session, and the title of the session is "Everything Has Changed," and everything has changed in the last 2 years. We've gone to be 100% virtual for our delivery, 100% virtual for our marketing and communications, which already is a huge change. Our clients have gone virtual. So the things that we offer them and the way that we offer them have completely changed. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the changes to the coaching landscape. There are all these coach aggregators, BetterUp and Coach Hub, who are starting to aggregate coaches and make them available to clients. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? How do you maximize that? Technology in the last 2 years has just exploded. Artificial intelligence, how does that impact your coaching? Chatbots and tools that you can use to stay connected to clients. How can you integrate technology into what you're doing so that you can be more efficient and make more money? So we have a session in Expand with some experts about using technology in a way that's not scary to make it happen. So we're going to talk about all of these really vast changes. By the way, clients, there are more clients for coaching now than ever. Companies have determined that, we shouldn't reserve coaching just for our senior executives. Everyone can benefit from coaching. So there's so many changes, and you really can't make your decisions about your practice in a vacuum. you need to say, based on this new, really evolved landscape, what are the right things for me so that I can be wildly successful and enjoy what I'm doing? And I think that's what's going to happen. So if you're really interested in the changes, the session with Ann Betts, who is absolutely brilliant, I adore her, that's going to be the session where you're really going to get all of that insight. Okay, any other questions come in? I know we're at 30 minutes past. Okay, Colleta, first of all, a huge thanks for being here. You're incredibly generous. You're delightful to speak with, and we so appreciate your being here to share your real life experience with the program. Any final words for people who are maybe in the program now or who are considering it?
Thanks very much, William. Yeah, you say I'm generous, but I'm grateful for your generosity in having me here. Yeah, so what I would say to people who are considering joining is, please join. Do not hesitate, because you do need to build your business. You do need to build yourself as a coach, and this gives you a beautiful foundation and lots of information and lots of practical guidance to do it, and do it within a community of like-minded people who can support you in growing yourself and your business. And for those who are there already, keep shining, keep doing it, give it your 100%. I remember, when I did it, much as I gave it my 100%, but I had some struggles because some of the sessions were happening like in the dead of the night because of the time zones, and sometimes I would need to like set my alarm to be up by 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. to join a session. But it was all worth it, considering what I was going to get, the value that I was getting from it. So my encouragement is that, yes, you may have to sacrifice some things here and there, including your sweet sleep, but it's all worth it in the end.
Well, Colleta, I didn't even know that, and I'm hugely impressed with your commitment. The good news for this year, because of that, and because the ICF is so truly global, not only do we have people from all over the world attending and as experts, most of the content is on demand. And then the live Q&A sessions and the live accountability sessions are at 2 different times of the clock, so that you don't have to be up at 3 in the morning, Colleta. But you know what? If I didn't think I could like you anymore, and now I do even more, just because of your commitment and being able to do that.
Thank you.
So thank you, Colleta. Thanks to, and by the way, I just want to say the ICF team that builds this program, they are second to none. I work with learning and development people all over the world. They are just amazing, and they can help you, learn how the program works as well. So thanks, everyone. A huge thanks to you, Colleta, and I hope to see you in this week. Don't delay. You want to jump in. We just released some content. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having
care.
me. All right. Bye.